Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Kingston, Jamaica. Kingston Penn Airport. This is, I guess, the GA airport in Kingston, and I had no idea where to start this flight from, so I don't know if I started it at, the interesting part of the airport or not. I don't believe I have by looking around, but that's alright. We are here today to check out the brand new, updated, Just Flight Warrior. So, auto fuel selector off, chocks and tie downs off. We do want the wheel fairings. And what else do we want? We want the dual GNS. There we go. So now that we've got all that, let's go rotating beacon on, mixture rich, carb heat is cold, master and battery switches on, fuel pump on. Can't get my fuel pump to work with my Honeycomb Bravo. Fuel pump on. Let's pretend this is not the first flight of the day, so we don't have to prime the engine. Let's crack the throttle. Parking brake is set. We're going to set the toe brakes anyway. Take a quick look outside, make sure there's nobody out there to kill or maim. Right hand on the throttle. Engage the starter. And then let's look down and see that the fuel valve is closed. Let's engage the starter again. Good start this time. Mags back to both, throttle to 1200 RPM. Oil pressure is good. Lean, the mixture for taxi. Avionics master coming on. Now the strobe lights coming on. So, what do we have today? Let's set the altimeter. So what we have today, fuel pump off, is the updated Warrior. And what does this mean? This means that apparently we have smoother cockpit animations, and we also have improved this is like English day for me apparently. Improved. Am I having a stroke? Improved spark plug fouling. Oh my god! No, I'm not having a stroke. By the way, don't worry. That was a joke. Yeah, English is challenging. I do speak more than one language, but English is my first language, and I would think I'd do a better job at it than this. So, winds today are, let's see, 140 to 18 knots. So we're definitely taking off runway 14. Alright, let's get going here. I'm still cracking up about this. Lean the mixture for taxi. And let's get this baby turning around here in a hurry. You can hold the brake on these airplanes and spin them around pretty much in the kind of the imprint of their wings, right? So we're going to want to take a left here. I don't know if I have a good taxiway diagram. I really don't. Of course, it wouldn't make any difference if I did, because any radio call I would make right now would not be heard by anybody because I am not on the proper radio frequency. So this is another freeware airport from flightsim.to, which I find very cool. I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoy It's just so awesome the effort that so many people have made to bring so many of these small airports to Microsoft Flight Simulator. And this one is from flightsim.to. I don't believe that all of this is part of it, but geez, that's really pretty great. So let's get back in the airplane here. And we're going to be on a heading of 350 today, so let's get the heading dialed in. GPS is going to be our CDI. 122.8 is our navcom. It's our nav frequency. I haven't flown all weekend, so there's probably some brain issues there going on too. Let's do a quick flight control check. Yoke to the left, up on that side, down on that side, up on that side, down on that side. Flaps all the way down on that side, all the way down on that side, all the way up on that side, all the way up on that side. And let's do the elevators. Elevators moving correctly, which when I pull the yoke towards me, it moves up. And that's actually not an elevator, that is a stabilator. But I'll spare you my nerdy discussion of that right now. Fuel pump on, mixture rich, brakes are set. Throttle to 2000 RPM. Alright, left magneto. Good drop. Back to both. Right magneto. Good drop within 50 RPMs of one another. Back to both. Let's pull the carb heat on. There's no drop, which there should be. You can see the smoothness of that animation there, as they were talking about. Alright, let's turn the fuel pump off. Fuel pressure is still good. And we'll bring the throttle back. Throttle to idle. And throttle idle check is fine. Throttle idle check, all you want to do is make sure that the engine is running smoothly. Alright, throttle to 1000 RPM. We'll lean that mixture again real quick just for taxi. Always lean the mixture when you're on the ground and you're not moving because of spark plug fouling. So departure briefing, we're taking off runway 14. I'm going to do a right, actually, I'm going to do a left turnout, left crosswind, just because Manly Airport is kind of off to the right a little bit. So be a left turnout. Any problems on any engine problems on the runway, power problems on the runway, we're going to bring the power to idle and come to a stop using the brakes. If that means going off the end of the runway, so be it. Always better to go off the end of a runway slowing down than nurse a sick plane into the air. Once we're airborne, anything under 500 feet, engine problem, we're going to be looking straight ahead, 30 degrees either side of the nose, just right directly ahead of us. The water is going to be pretty tempting over towards the right. But then again, Kingston Airport is also pretty much straight out, so keep an eye out for that runway in case we need it. Anything above 500 feet, we're going to be looking to make a right turn, come around and land on any hard surface available. And I think that's a pretty good pre-departure briefing. It's going to be left turnout on course heading 350. So, mixture rich, fuel pump is on. Landing light is on, and engine instruments all look good. I think we're good to go. We'll talk about our destination once we get airborne. Transponder squawk altitude, and the other thing, of course, is the flight model updates. That's the big thing. So that's what we're going to be looking for here. So Kingston Penn Airport, Warrior Foxtrot Delta Oscar, taking off runway 14, left crosswind departure, left downwind departure to the north, Kingston Penn.
Entered runway 14, 3,600 feet remaining.
That's a displaced threshold behind us. Alright, heading indicator checks with the runway number. Takeoff power is coming in. Takeoff power is set. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed is alive, accelerating normally. Feels a little touchy on the rudders, but off we go, baby. And there we go. Wow, look at this. It's really pretty cool, this really great view of the Bay Area here. It's gonna be a little bumpy today. It's gonna be kind of windy. That's the airport straight off over there. So 400 feet AGL will make a left turn, and you can see there's a really dense population here of the city, and that's because I have terrain level of detail set to 400. So 1,000 feet AGL. Let's turn the fuel pump off. Check our fuel pressure. Fuel pressure's looking just fine. And let's see. Coming around to this heading of 350. Gonna want to turn through it a little bit. To come back on to intercept course. Really cool view of the area here. Air is alive today, that's for sure. And let's see, we got some pretty tall mountains here. So what we're gonna do over here a little bit. Airplane feels really alive, which I find good. I mean, it doesn't feel like fake in any way. You know, start leaving the mixture here a little bit. And we're up above. Here we can go. About 4,500 should be just fine. So what we're doing today, we're going to go to Ian Fleming International Airport here in Jamaica. And my inspiration for this, Ocho Rios, Jamaica. My inspiration for going to Ian Fleming Airport today is the fact that we over the weekend went to a James Bond car automobile museum display.
Class Delta
Yeah, I mean, I would personally, in this situation in real life, would ask for clearance into the Class Delta. There is no ATC on right now. Get a little bit of IMC, or as I like to refer to it, Caribbean VFR. 50 feet below our cruise altitude. Push the nose over. Reduce power. Until you hear a distinct reduction in engine noise. And expect it to be a little bit bouncy around here. We are over terrain. I suppose technically you're always over terrain, right? The Earth being terrain. But we're over some hills here, so you're definitely going to get some mechanical turbulence. It's hot down here. And so you're going to get a little bit of bouncing around. It's going to lean the mixture a bit more. That nose from dropping too much here. And here we are. This is Jamaica. Pretty cool stuff. This terrain LOD of 400 is really pretty nice. And I'm able to do that really without any problems. Getting right now 57 frames per second, which for my math is 60, which is my screen refresh rate, so it's about as good as it gets. You know, I need to figure out how to turn off the voice commands when I'm flying the sim, because it gets to be a bit annoying, to be honest. Don't know why my flight plan did not get transferred over to the GPS here in the sim, but it didn't. So okay, and I was leaning the mixture there, and you just heard the engine sound go, the drop in RPM. So even without an EGT gauge, if you hear a drop in RPM when you're leaning the mixture, that means you have leaned far enough. And if you don't have an EGT gauge, you just lean until you hear a drop in RPM, and then just push the mixture in a little bit. If you do have an EGT gauge, you just push it in until it reaches about 50 degrees rich of peak EGT. Physics-wise, I mean, like flight model-wise, this is exactly what I would expect this type of day over this type of terrain to feel like. Alive. And it does. So I would also be keeping an eye on Carb Ice on a day like today. People think you're not going to get carb ice on a hot day, fact of the matter is the temperature in the carburetor can drop 70 degrees Fahrenheit as the air moves through the venturi. And so basically you can get carb ice up to a 90 degree day outside. So of outside air temperature right now is 60, definitely within carb ice range. You know, on a day, like I said, in a place where it's humid, something you're not really going to be terribly surprised to see. The Lycoming engine is less apt to produce carb ice than the Continental engine. So typically in a Piper, a Cherokee, you're typically going to have a Lycoming engine. Whereas in a Cessna, you're going to typically have a Continental engine. Not always. But so in this airplane, I would be a little bit less inclined to think about carb ice. Or less inclined to worry about it anyway. Let's see here. Ian Fleming Airport, Warrior Foxtrot Delta Oscar is 10 miles to the north, inbound, runway 9er, Ian Fleming. So what I'm going to do, make a pretty decent reduction in power here, 2200 RPM, because I'm almost at 5,000 feet. I don't want to get into a nosedive here, but I do want to start thinking about descending. I'm going to overfly the field out over the water, make a left downwind entry. So the field elevation is 96 feet, let's call it 100, so I would call traffic pattern altitude 1100 feet. To get back to my James Bond story, so the Saratoga Automobile Museum in Saratoga Springs, New York, has a Bond in Motion event going on right now. And so over the weekend, we went and checked that out. And this airplane doesn't feel like descending, so I'm going to bring the power back to 2,000. The field's right in front of us, I can see it now. And it's the cars from the James Bond movies. And I tell you, it was a very, very cool thing to do if you're in the New York, like the greater New York area. They actually had some people come out from Chicago to see it. So this event was in, like I said, the Saratoga Automobile Museum. And prior to coming here, it was in London, and then it was in this big, I don't know the name of the museum. It's a huge car museum in Los Angeles. Apparently like the most famous car museum in the country. And then it came to Saratoga, New York, which is really kind of both weird and cool. They had the Aston Martin DB5. They had, you know, the classic one, right, from the Sean Connery films. The one they had here at the exhibit has been in the actual last 6 James Bond movies. They had the DB10 that was custom made for, I think it was Spectre. they had the Lotus from was it is it For Your Eyes Only? I can't remember. The Lotus that goes underwater. They had the submarine from one of the movies. I can't remember which movie that was. I'm not very useful in telling you which movies in particular. But man, what an amazing event. And so Ian Fleming actually owned a home right off the end of runway 9 here. And so let's go mixture rich. I'm going to turn the fuel pump on. Ian Fleming traffic, Warrior Foxtrot Delta Oscar, overflying the field at 1,800 feet. Descending, we're going to be entering a left downwind for runway 9er, Ian Fleming. And I know I am one to complain a little bit about the physics sometimes of this sim, but coming off this sort of terrain down over the water, I don't doubt it, you know. I also am in a nosedive, so let's put in one notch of flaps. And what we're going to do here is kind of circle around a little bit and enter the downwind. I don't see any traffic, so I'm not terribly worried. Actually, what we can do is just let's put in that second notch of flaps here. Ian Fleming traffic, Warrior Foxtrot Delta Oscar entering a 3-mile left base runway 09er, Ian Fleming. So, alright. Fuel pump's on, mixture is rich, airspeed is alright. This is not, it's kind of a tricky day. The wind, I suspect, is going to be pretty healthy, 140 at 18. Ian Fleming traffic, Warrior Foxtrot Delta Oscar turning a 1.5 mile final runway 9er, Ian Fleming. Okay, and I expect this is going to be an adventure. So, one thing I don't want is to get a really big drop in vertical speed. I also don't want to get real slow because it's churlish over here. It's choppy. See that 700 feet per minute right there? That's certainly as much as I want to see. And this will settle a little bit as we get closer in. But it's not terribly surprising to see this. And this is actually going to be pretty much a direct crosswind. See, and that's what you don't want right there. That 1,000 foot per minute drop on short final. And knowing the length of this runway, I'm not too worried. I'm a little bit high, obviously, but I still am confident we can get down. Little bit of power there. Not one for the instruction videos here in terms of how to land an airplane, but it worked. Got it down. Fleming, traffic, Warrior, Foxtrot, Delta, Oscars, clear the runway. Fleming. Alright, so let's stop here, because that was an adventurous landing, so I want to kind of stop and get myself oriented here. We'll turn the fuel pump off. Mixture is lean for taxi. Let's put our flaps up. The thing is, like, if you're aware of where you are and what's, you know, the type of terrain, the weather, and kind of what to expect, if you're prepared for it, you can deal with it, right? If I had been just kind of thinking that this was going to be a la-di-da approach, and it was going to be, you know, fun and games, little 500 foot per minute descent, nice and easy, goose down into the airport here, I could have easily gotten very surprised and quite unpleasantly surprised on short final there. But because of the terrain, because of the weather, you know, the hot and humid conditions, and the windy conditions, I was expecting a bit of a roller coaster ride. Alright, brakes are set. Mixture to idle cut off. Throttle is idle. Let's set the parking brake. Turn our lights off. Avionics master off. Before you turn the mags off. Mags off. Master and battery switches off. And we're good to go. Like I said, so if you are not really expecting or not looking out for, you know, a bit of an adventure coming in on a, you know, weather day like this, you can get an unpleasant surprise. But because we were, you know, aware of the conditions and, you know, using our head ahead of time, it wasn't a problem. I was certain we were going to have a drop in the VSI at some point, and we were going to start nosediving. You know, I could have gone around, and I may have had the plane not started settling once I reduced the power. Like once we had the runway made, and I reduced the power, and I knew it was descending. I was okay with it. Yeah, I mean, airplane-wise, cockpit animations definitely look smoother, you know, in terms of, you know, that used to jam up and down. I'm talking about the carb heat here. You know, it used to just jam up and down. Things looking really nice. And the flight model's great. I mean, this was, like I said, a bumpy day. This is the kind of day you're gonna get bounced around a little bit, and that's exactly what happened. So boy, I mean, the sim feels alive. It looks phenomenal with some clouds now. The terrain LOD of 400 really makes, you know, with all the buildings and everything, makes it shine. And you know, this update of the Warrior feels really nice. I mean, it felt exactly like I would expect this airplane to feel on a day like today. So thumbs up for me on that one. I hope you guys enjoyed the quick flight, and we'll see you again soon.